A little while ago, I recorded a video about Indiana Jones 5, The Dial of Destiny. And this was a few months ago when the previews were just starting to come out. I think the first preview ever had been released, and there had been a lot of hubbub. There had been a lot of controversy. There had been a lot of rumors about just what this movie would be about and what would happen to the iconic character beloved by so many of Indiana Jones, played by Harrison Ford. This yet another macho heroic white man who is going to be, it seems, in some manner or other, brought down to size and humiliated and, if rumors are true, made to look like less of a hero than he was ever previously. Now, when the previous video that I recorded was recorded, I was aware of a certain particular rumor that was making the rounds, which was that this movie, which had been the filming schedule had been strange in that they were basically finished with the movie, it was said, but they weren't releasing it yet. Initially, this movie was supposed to be released in the summer of 2022, but it got pushed to summer of 2023, the upcoming summer, and now its release date is June 30th, which is just a little bit over a month from when I'm recording this video. And so of course people were wondering what's this delay all about? Why are they going back? And it got revealed eventually by no less than John Williams, the composer, the iconic composer for Indiana Jones and also Star Wars and a lot of other memorable films. He revealed at some concert that they were going back and reshooting certain scenes, and then he had to go back and do the score for those scenes that were being reshot. And so it was like, aha, they are reshooting. So what's going on there? Now, the rumor up to that point had been that they had, and this was something that had been extensively discussed on the channel belonging to the entertaining sci-fi commentator personality named Doomcock, that he had insiders within Disney, within Lucasfilm, who had told him that they had put out all of these test screenings in which all of which had different endings, and that none of the endings were liked by the test screener, the audience that was seeing these potential versions of Indiana Jones 5, The Dial of Destiny, but that one ending in particular was spectacularly unpopular with the audience. And they claim that in this ending, the movie, which involves time travel, I mean, it seems that is the case, that time travel plays a role in this movie, which is pretty goofy. Just in the sense that Indiana Jones has never been about time travel. Time travel has never been in the, like, it is, a fantasy realm. It is you do see a lot of fantastic sort of stuff and a lot of ghastly sorts of things happen, and they're looking for buried treasure or documents or artifacts which maybe have a certain kind of preternatural power, and so there's lots of fantastic stuff that puts it in the realm of fantasy, let us say. But time travel was never, ever a part of Indiana Jones, but it seems that it is indeed a part of this latest movie of Indiana Jones. And so the rumor was that the least liked version of the movie that they'd screened involved Indiana Jones going back in time with this new sidekick played by Phoebe Waller-Bridge, this annoying feminist actress who is attributed to ruining the latest James Bond movie and ruining Han Solo, the Disney Star Wars movie that was the first Star Wars movie to be a flop, to not make back the amount that it had cost to make it, and so just this irritating actress that she comes on, she plays the daughter of a friend of Indy's who has since died, and so she's his goddaughter, and she also is an archaeologist following in her father's footsteps, I guess. And so the idea is that they go back in time for some reason because of this dial of destiny that the Nazis want to change it so that the Nazis win the World War II, and they go back in time, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character and Indy meet young Indy, and young Indy young Indy ends up sacrificing himself, giving his life so both old Indy and young Indy disappear, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character takes over as the new Indiana Jones. These were the rumors that were going around, that they completely obliterated Indiana Jones. Not only did they kill him off, but they made it so that he never existed. He never had these kinds of adventures to begin with. And Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character becomes the new Indiana Jones, and so we have this macho white male heroic protagonist, this beloved icon, just wiped out of history and replaced by this tart-tongued feminist upstart woman, which was really bad, really sounded bad. And I said in my last video that if this was indeed the ending that they were contemplating doing, that wasn't shooting yourself in the foot, that was shooting yourself in the face. I predicted that people would loathe and despise that ending, and that the movie would flop, and that it would be the end of Lucasfilm. People wouldn't support that. That's so egregious of a demolition of this cinematic icon, Indiana Jones, that I just had a hard time believing that was ever really the case. But there were these leaks that were saying that they were testing at least for that kind of ending, and according to Doomcock, what it looked like was that there was the scuttlebutt was that people were hating on this ending or talking about it, and the rumors were flying, and it was getting so much negative feedback that they had to go back, and even Bob Iger, the head of Disney, who's no friend of who's as woke as they come, apparently, but who has a certain business savvy, that supposedly he took Kathleen Kennedy aside, Kathleen Kennedy, the villainess who took over Lucasfilm from George Lucas and then decided to destroy the Star Wars franchise by pushing this feminist doctrine, the Force is female, and having Rey, the Mary Sue Rey, become the new hero who can do no wrong, the bestest ever, as Doomcock calls her. So it looks like she's up to old tricks with this Indiana Jones movie, but it looked like it was even more egregious if they were really just going to make it so that Indy never existed. So they apparently had to go back and change stuff. And now we have rumors, since the movie has actually been screened. It was seen at the Cannes Film Festival this year, got rather tepid reviews, and now there is this claim of somebody who says that they've seen the movie and puts out the whole plot. So these are potential spoilers, what I'm about to say. And now the ending is apparently different in that they do go back in time, and so that's still a part of this. And this time around, they're in, instead of being in the 1930s Germany, the Nazi era, they're in the ancient Rome for some reason. I guess it's related to the Dial of Destiny, that it was supposedly created by Archimedes in ancient Rome, and that Indy's character, he's this enfeebled old man. He's 80 years old. If in the previews and the scenes that they've shown so far, you do in some cases get this picture, this image of the Indy being this confused old man, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character being this young and vivacious character who's sort of shepherding him along and leading the way, kind of, more or less. And that in itself is pretty insulting if that's the case. If they're going to make Indiana Jones into this senile old man. Of course, the actor playing him, Harrison Ford, is now 80, so he's very long in the tooth. He's definitely past his prime insofar as being a swashbuckling hero, which is what Indiana Jones was always famous for being. Anyhow, the notion now is not that he dies in the past, but that he's a wrecked, broken man, much like Luke Skywalker was in The Last Jedi in the opening of the movie. He's divorced from Marion, his son, which we were introduced to in the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Mutt was his name. He died in Vietnam. It's the late 60s now. And so he's decided, his wife has left him, his son is dead. So he's just this sad, destitute old man. Nobody takes him seriously. He gets forced into retirement. And so at the end of the movie, he's back in ancient Rome, and he tells her, I don't want to go back to the present. There's nothing for me there. I want to stay here in the past. And she says, but you might change the course of history if you do that. But he doesn't care. He wants to stay there. So she, according to the new rumor, knocks him out, punches him in the face, knocks him out. Punches an old man in the face, knocks him out, makes him, renders him unconscious, and then takes him back forcibly with her into the present, which is 1969 in the world of this movie. And then they have this happy ending where Marion comes back and decides to reconcile with him, and they remake the ending, the kissing scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark, where she asks, come on, Indy, where doesn't it hurt? And he points to his elbow, and she kisses it, and then she kisses, other parts of his body, and eventually they kiss on the lips, and so they're remaking that sexy scene from 1981, except now it's 2023. They're both old. They're a couple of old people we don't want to see. We don't want to see them making out. But that's the ending that they give it. So they give it a happy ending now. That's the rumor. But still, it sounds so disrespectful in so many ways. even though they're still preserving, they're not making Indy die. They're not making it so that Indiana Jones is wiped out and replaced by this broad, and because you can't have white male heroes, that's bad, patriarchy bad, you know. Instead of that, they're letting him live, but they're subjecting him to this humiliation of getting punched in the face by this girl, this female, this annoying feminist, and then dragged back to the present, and then allowed to be happy again because his wife comes back for whatever reason and decides to reconcile with him. So it still sounds really corny, and really stupid, but it's not as bad as having him die off and be eliminated, just vacuumed out of history, the way they were talking about being the case before. And I think, while I always doubted that they would actually do that, you just never know. That would be so audacious for them to take that step, to actually do that. Again, they would be hated forever. People would hate them for that. Everybody would hate that ending. So now they're, I think the fact that they've taken so much longer shooting it, and that they've gone back and reshot so many things, and this, the budget is just out of control for this movie. It's sounding like more and more like a disaster, frankly. But now they're making it so that Indy has a happy ending, but he's still treated as a doddering old man, and he's still, like this destitute old white dude that nobody takes seriously anymore. Whereas when he was in his prime, all of his female students were in love with him, and he couldn't teach a class without one of his pretty students closing her eyes, and it says "love you" on her eyelids, because he was such a stud. But now he's just this old man. Everybody dismisses, but at least he gets to have his wife back at the end and gets a sort of happy ending. But he has to get punched in the face by this girl. That just sounds like, that still sounds like an insult to Indiana Jones. Those are my thoughts on the subject. I'm probably going to see the movie just because I think I'm going to have to. I want to see for myself, just what they do with it. If it's as bad as people are saying that it is. I kind of want to see the train wreck for myself, even though it's probably going to hurt for me, because the Raiders of the Lost Ark, the Indiana Jones movies, the original Indiana Jones trilogy was a big part of my childhood, and informed my imagination heavily. Second place only to Star Wars, I would say, the original trilogy of Star Wars. Those are my thoughts on where things stand right now with Indy 5. What do y'all think? Any ideas? Any opinions? Leave them below. And thanks for watching.